I'm just reflecting on the past. Went to Germany, the invitation of a friend of mine. His name is Shina Adigmamire. Shina Adigmamire. Shina Adigmamire is a childhood friend of mine. We were 4 when we were very young. Shina Adigmamire, who is a farmer in Oladiyun now. He has a pedigree. Shegun Akimbobola and Akilabi Akimbola-san, who's a diplomat. Akilabi Akimbola-san. He's my cousin. He's a diplomat. He's presently serving in Portugal. That's a fantastic man. Akilabi Akimbola-san. So we were 4 then. So Shina was in Germany. He invited me over. I went to Germany, with the hindsight of being able to work as an engineer. On getting there, because of the language barrier, it was a bit difficult. I went to the Red Cross to learn a little Dutch. I speak a little Dutch, expression Dutch about many Dutch, all this. I could speak a little Dutch. But while I was doing that, I had a thing with a church. They call it African Church then, and I was serving, and I discovered that my earlier calling to ministry, which I had known when I was small, came up, and the Lord spoke to me, go back to Nigeria. You will not fulfill destiny here. I want to use you all over the world. Go back to Nigeria. I came back to Nigeria, then started my own J. Nisi Building Civil Engineering, JNISI Nigeria Limited. JNISI Nigeria Limited, Building and Civil Engineering Company, at number 2 Jomo Simi Street, Alausa Ikeja, and other businesses. So reflecting on how God helped me that time, wasn't doing engineering alone, though that was my passion. I was so passionate about it. I equally come up with other businesses. Then how God enabled me to start JNISI Chemicals Limited. The company is still existing tomorrow, which I handed it over to Pastor Johnson Oriade. Then I was into spare part business, sending people to France to get Pojos. Then they were broken down, brought to Nigeria here. I will sell them to the Ladipo guys. So I was into spare part business. I was equally into a wood business. I was doing well in those businesses. Then I had a pharmacy with my cousin, my late cousin, Benga Akintomide. So the pharmacy was in Sabongeri in Kano, Azikwe Street, Sabongeri, Kano, and the name of the pharmacy then was Tomlad, Tomlad, Tomlad Pharmacy. So I was into engineering, I was into spare parts, I was into wood business, I was into pharmacy, and so how God helped me, it still amazes me till today. So doing that, the call came. It met a great resistance for me.
What is?
That was around 1993 when I had my second born. And the Lord was saying that it's time. Then I said, and I started arguing with God. At 34, I needed to make more money. Is that. The Lord said, no, you have to start the work. That's why I've created you. It was a battle. It was a battle. I started, struggling with the Lord. So it marvels me now, reflecting on how God was patient with me. But something happened. The business started nosediving. I started running helter skelter. in this prophecy given to my dad, that a great prophet, national prophet, will come through him, that he should wash out, that I must obey God, otherwise I will be in debt. I didn't obey. I partnered with another person, brought in engines from Japan. We ran into problems. While I was selling spare parts engines again, the Lord spoke to me, go and do the work. The struggle was so much that January came in. It was so bad that I became an executive beggar. So when at that time, so at the end of the day, my wife said something. She said, "Sir, you are good at seeking the face of God. Seek the face of God. Anything He tells you, do it." Then I remembered that my father said to me when I was small, that if I face any challenge in life, I should examine myself. Number one, if I've committed any sin, I should repent and then take the Bible, wait on the Lord in prayer and fasting until God speaks. So that came to my mind. Immediately I took my Bible, I started praying, and that led me to the first prayer and fasting that I did for 314 days, 315 days. I was fasting every day for those 315 days. At the end of the day, the Lord revealed to me that wishes were not troubling me. Foundational powers were not troubling me then. That was because I have refused to do what God has ordained me to do. The disobedience was my main bane. So, what did I do? I asked God for forgiveness. I'm just reflecting. Then He said to me, I want to talk to you about the vision. Go to Benin City. I was wondering, why should I go to Benin City? When God wanted your attention, when He wants attention, He takes you to a secluded place. I remember that my younger brother was there. He's still there up till now. So I went there. And I told my brother, the Lord said I should come here to listen to Him. And first day, second day, the Lord asked me to go and check the library of my brother. On getting there, I saw a book written by a man, The Mark of a Disciple. I looked at the book I was reading. The Lord said, no, this book, the author will tell you what to do. I looked at the name of the author. I've forgotten the name now. So I asked my brother to look at the book. And he said, yeah, this man, yeah, he's in Lagos, this and that. So I asked for the address of the man, looked for the address, searched for it. I got it. I came to Lagos. I went to the man. No GSM then. The man, I said, the Lord said I should meet you if you tell me what to do. He said, concerning what? I said, I think God wants to use you for me. And the man said I should go and come back on the third day. By the time I came back, he said, the Lord said He needed you to work for Him. Please, I must get the name of that man. I will send it to you. So immediately that happened, he said, the Lord said He wants to use you. While I was in Benin, the Lord said, the ministry I want to give you is from John chapter 4. The encounter between the woman by the well of Samaria and Jesus. When Jesus demanded for water and the woman said she won't give. And Jesus said, if you had given me this water, I would have given you water springing unto life. And the Lord said, the ministry I want to give you has living spring in. I wrote living spring. John chapter 4. And it's based on Christ. I wrote Christ. It's an apostolic ministry. I wrote apostolic. And it's a ministry. I wrote ministry. So that was how Christ Living Spring Apostolic Ministry with acronym CLAM evolved. So when I got to that matter, I said, well, what the Lord told me is this: the field is ripe. And God gave me John chapter 4, which I was given in Benin. I knew that I was talking. He said, sir, what are you doing? What do you want to do? I said, God has called me. He said, that's what God has said. So that was how, by the grace of God, I started preparing for the ministry.
What is that?
That was 1996. So 1996, there was this meeting in Latter Rain. One pastor there I will try to remember the name of the pastor. So they not said that I should go to Lateran, that someone will confirm the call, because I was confused. I was always hearing the voice. What do you want to go and preach? Baba the boy is preaching this. Is doing this. What do you want to go and preach? I was confused. As I entered into the place, I met the man. It's called Pastor Remy of Lateran. Then he met me. He said, "Sir, I saw you came for one meeting one day. God is up to something. God wants to use you." He said, "Sir, what is your strength in the Christendom?" I said, "Prayer." I said, go and operating in that sphere." He said, "That's where God will meet with you." He confirmed that thing and laid my fears. So I left, then started preparing. By the grace of God, April 2nd, 1998, plan started to the glory of God. I didn't have any money to invite anyone. I called my family members, my friends, maybe about 9 or 10 of us. The picture will be given, and my sister, Mrs. Akiyemi of Danso. Then I had a tutorial college, and when they gave us a place to use. That was how it started. How God nurtured Clam from April 2nd, 1998 till now, running to 21 years, and God has made it global. It amazes me. Just reflecting, having reminiscences of the past. You know how God enabled me, to meet my wife, Pastor Mrs. Oladiyun. How He blessed us with children and grandchildren. Everything is amazing. So what can I say than to say thank you, Lord? Thank you, sir. Put it this way, that it was part of God's network to take me to where He has brought me to this year. Just like the way Joseph was sold into slavery, was in the pit, to Potiphar's house, the prison, he was forgotten until his gift announced him. When my father died, what was it? 1971, March 6, 1971. I would be very comfortable holding this for you. Don't worry. When my father died, March 6, 1971, we were 7. My mother was a cassava flour seller, a garri seller. Don't forget that my father was a goldsmith. He was a farmer. Continuity of those businesses was just not there. But you see, from my father's maternal side, some people came to commiserate with us, to sympathize with my mom. Then one of my father's cousins, his name Mr. Joseph Adewapun. He was a diplomat serving in our embassy in Russia. He was so grieved hearing that my father died. So he traveled from Lagos to Ileruji. Getting to our house, he saw sorrows there. My mother in a very despondent situation. With the children, we were very miserable, no hope. Even though for the next meal, the man was crying. Remember, he was my father's first cousin. So he was just thinking of how to be of help. Then he looked at everyone and said, "Is there anyone who could follow me to Ibadan?" Because he had just been posted to Ibadan to just do, to take care of the home. Not that he took me on the basis of paying me to be a husband. I want to clear that place. Okay. So on taking me to Ibadan, so he took me to Ibadan. He had a younger brother, Engineer Moses Adewakun. Engineer Moses Adewakun is still very much alive. The Salaja of Ileoluji Kingdom, may God bless him. Who was living in Odoona, Ibadan. He was an engineer with J. Allen Motors. So when Baba would be going to work in the morning, he would drop me and his two sons, Tayo and Femi, with his younger brother, so that I would take Tayo and Femi to Crispo College in Odoona. Having done that, we'll go back to Engineer Adewakun's place, awaiting when those young boys will leave school and Baba will pick us. That was the routine. Then we'll move to Yagan. So whenever he dropped us there, while living in Ileoluji, I've taken along my Lacombe arithmetic. So I will be working arithmetic, thinking in my mind, one day I will have the opportunity to go to a secondary school. So the engineer Adewakun one day was going, unknown to me that he had been looking at, the way I was working arithmetic, and he said, "You, this young boy, one day I've been looking at you. Do you want to go to school?" I said, "Yes, I want to be an engineer like you." That was the only statement I made. The man did not say anything. Unknown to me that he met with his elder brother and another cousin of my dad, Chief M.A. Akintomide, the director of IITA. Chief M.A. Akintomide, the director of IITA then. All I knew later was that the three of them met and said, "Take this letter to Chief Jawando Adewakun. Take this letter to Chief Jawando Adewakun." That's Pastor Tadi's dadness. "Let him arrange for a common entrance for you into secondary school." And the elders among them said, "You are a young boy, but Engineer Adewakun has told us the way you used to work arithmetic and you want to go to school, you will go to school." I didn't know where I was. That was how I went to Chief Jawando Adewakun. Then I wrote entrance examinations to Boloji Grammar School, St. Joseph, Ondo High School, and I passed. When I passed, I came back to Ibadan. The three of them, by the grace of God, Chief Salaja Adewakun, late Mr. Joseph Adewakun, Chief Akintomide, contributed money and they paid my school fees. So I give thanks unto the Lord for the Adewakun's family and the Akintomide's family. I am indebted to them forever. Two, my father was one of the foremost leaders in CAC. What he was doing with his group, prayer group, I didn't understand until I grew up. This you can see the prayer group there. My father with the members of his prayer group were interceding for God to liberate Ileoluji, which I continued with my group later. So Ileoluji is my place, it's my land of birth. Ileoluji is the land where God has started me in life. At least I had my primary, secondary school there. And God has prophetically revealed to me that time will be great. Thank God is manifesting now. So, and God has revealed to me also that I needed to continue what my father and his group had done in that time, which God is continuing through our hands now. I say our hands with my group, Ileoluji for Christ group. For the past 26 years, we have been running crusade there, and we've been doing medical outreaches in all the villages and towns. So Ileoluji is very germane, is very key to my destiny. I bless God for that town forever and ever. Thank you. I found myself in CAC. 4 o'clock in the morning, we wake up, we chant psalms until we get to our church. You know the church, so I discovered that I found myself in the midst of people who were always busy, jiggling the bell and drumming and praying. Ow, praying hard.
Very early morning.
Very early in the morning. We go to church early in the morning. Build there before we go to school. And when coming back from school, I will pass through my father's workshop. You must not greet anyone. You first go and put down your portmanteau. You must pray before coming back to greet my father. That was the way I was brought up. So I was brought up with this old time religion, which I'm still practicing today. That's why you see sanity in the kind of Christianity I'm practicing. I was brought up with the notion that you must have eternity in mind, which is still there till tomorrow. So CAC is my native church. God has brought me forth from CAC to break new frontiers in the apostolic spectrum. So everything you see about me today stems from CAC church. The apostolic faith is about the word of God, is about prayers and living the life of holiness, having eternity in mind. Over the years, God has added values to the apostolic norms by veering into things that will preserve legacies and will make it humanity to be better. Samuel Oladiyun was the Balogun of CAC in Oruji. He was nominated as the prayer leader for a group of intercessors. His best friend was Pastor Akimoladun Amos. These people were very zealous for the Lord, and they didn't compromise their faith at all. You see, then we abhorred anything that has to do with occultism. And in our town, Ileluji, as at that time, Ileluji was very fetish. In fact, people were running away from that town. So I remember a day that the king of that town sent a mistress to my dad, forbidding the CAC people from holding their crusade in a particular sphere because they caught people who want to do theirs. But my father and their team disobeyed. They prayed. There was a confrontation. They were throwing shams at us, but the shams were bouncing back. I witnessed that, and so many other things that happened. Healings taking place, a lot of things. Most of the caught people gave their lives to Christ, came to CAC, and that was how I grew up. So it is a great privilege. I want to say it's by the grace of God, by the mercy of God, by the help of God, and the favor of God. Those four components. It's by the mercy of God, by the grace of God, by the help of God, by the favor of God. So I'm happy, and I pray that He helps me to do the work. 3 weeks ago, I was going to England with my wife for a short vacation. We were at the lounge, Virgin Atlantic Lounge. I saw some corporate ladies streaming in there, and they started greeting me. Then one came later and said, "Sir, how are you, sir? Pastor Wole Oladiyun, how is your wife? How are you?" She quickly ran to where she had her children, brought one and said, "You, Tim, we normally listen to at home. That ministration that had brought miracles to our house. This is the pastor. That tape, whenever you ask me, why are you shouting? Why are you shouting? This is the shouting pastor." Then they say, "How are you, sir? Oh, God bless you." So just by the way, it's our foundation. It's our foundation laid by Apostle Joseph Babalola. The kingdom of sovereign violence. But listen to this, because only the violent Christians, violent pastors, violent people shall take it by force. You don't take anything from the devil in a gentleman's fashion.